is like we need all these government people. Just go make a league account and play 10 games. Just play 10 games, and you'll understand that some of the shit people say.
Oh yeah, I know.
And I love how it said it like strength to rank pref.
Okay, so this is gonna be the GGWP podcast. We have here BD,
Bruce,
Roman. Okay, and this is our first one. We're gonna start
This is our test cast.
Yeah.
What were we talking about?
We came together after our last podcast with our other group that kind of fell through. We did take up like 30 minutes of their time talking about this stuff, so we're just going to start making our own cast here where we talk about nothing but League.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, we all love this game. We all play.
Y'all two do ranked, obviously. We were just talking about that a second ago.
Yeah.
I don't do. I just play... well, actually, we'll go down. Bruce, what's your experience with League?
All right. I've been playing League for about 2.5 years now. I got into League after Fantasy Air Zero shut down, so it was a game I was playing really hard. It was a game I was playing a bit, and then more recently, because I developed friends through League, and I've reached out to contacts and people through Reddit and all that crap. I actually spent probably a good majority of April to May with diamond level players. Yeah, diamond level players, and they're like, holy shit, you're good. So that's why I've been kind of getting serious about League recently, because they're like, holy crap, you're like, why are you bronze 2? Tell me why. It's like, tell me why you're in bronze.
Their system's really
the system really janks. I could go on for hours about how.
So you're a pretty seasoned player already by now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do
you own all the champions?
I do not. I'm missing 13 champions right now.
Only 13, huh?
That's actually really good for 2 years.
That's really good, yeah.
I mean, I'm a mixed person. I usually I buy IP and I buy Riot points. So do you strictly buy? I know some people that they strictly use influence points to buy champions.
Mm-hmm. I buy runes. I have a tendency to buy
runes will take a lot of your IP wallet away.
So
you need them though.
I would say pretty confidently my League account's worth at least $400.
That's good.
At least.
That's good.
Not
including legendaries and not including
legendaries, not including legacy skins, not including rare skins that were only given out.
I did not know that's a market. There are people that actually buy accounts with legacy skins. I was like, what?
Yeah, a friend of mine just sold his account, and it had a championship ribbon, a spectacular Sivir, Riot not Riot Nasus, but a Canine Nasus.
Okay, yeah.
I just saw that actually.
Skins that were given away at cons
packs and stuff. Yeah,
at packs.
And that's the only way.
Or the actual physical editions when you went and
I believe I'm gonna blow your mind right here, BD. But there's actually the rarest skin in League right now is it's a TF skin that's it's not Underworld, but it's black. It's a blue TF skin. Where it's kind of like playing on a funny joke. It's like, it feels nothing but blue, that one song. But that skin is selling on League or on eBay right now for $1,000.
Jesus Christ! Is it the spectacular one or is it?
No, it's
not even on the list.
Oh, it's not even on the list.
It's not even a listing.
Oh, actually,
if you go the way you can see it now, let's go to PB.
That's a gripe I have.
List.
Yeah,
that's a gripe I have about on the client. It should display all skins possible to get, not just through legacy and stuff.
I understand why Riot does that though.
But yeah, I prefer to know it because there's some skins on there that I've never even seen before that I was like.
So I feel like that.
Well, that's a collectivity.
Because you're teasing too much.
Yeah.
Because there's no way to obtain them anymore.
Yeah. Black Alistar.
Yeah, he's
scored. Black Alistar.
You
only got.
You don't really need that though.
Yeah, you only got that skin if you bought the deluxe edition. You pretty much pre-ordered for League of Legends, and nobody had nobody knew
that it was gonna blow up.
That League of Legends was gonna blow up like this, and
it was
nobody had the gal to pre-order for a free-to-play game.
Yeah, well, at the time it was a paid game because they did actually sell it retail for a while. You can still find copies of Clash of Fate online.
Yeah,
to buy, and that's their only retail version.
Yeah, well, going into that, what's your experience with League?
My experience with League, I've been playing for more than a year now, maybe a year and a half now, approaching. Spent a lot of money, and I can't even think about how much I've really spent on it, just buying skins and stuff. But
so you're in the collecting aspect of it, correct?
Yes, I like to collect. I buy a lot of skins for my champions, and I buy I just get a lot of runes and champions that I can get. Like, I'm still far away from getting all the champs. Because I earn those through IP. I don't like spending RP on them. I'll only use IP because I'd rather use my RP for skins.
Yeah.
For a lot of the champs I have multiple skins for them.
Yeah.
I feel the same. I feel the same way. I'm missing a lot of 3150s and a lot of 4800s.
I just finished all the 1350s and now I'm working my way up.
I came into this game maybe like let's see, probably like the end of December when we started the group because you were telling me like, oh, you should really get into this, you might like it. So I got into it, and then so I was there for January, February. I did not know that there were a few limited edition skins you can only get during that time, and I was like, I never thought anything of it. And one of them was, we brought it up earlier, was the Underworld Twisted Fate. He just came out, I think, in October, and they opened the vault up for Valentine's Day.
For Valentine's Day.
Yeah, and I was like, I saw him on the list to buy, and I was like, I never thought anything of it. I was just like, Twisted Fate was actually the first person that I got with points. Mm-hmm. Because he seemed like viable for me at the time because I was playing a lot of Summoner's Rift, and I had no concept of the idea of like what a carry was, a tank, or a mid person.
I always tell people who are brand new to this game, there's a bit of the learning curve at the beginning.
Yeah, there is a huge curve.
But at the end too, it's understanding. You have to understand the meta.
Yeah, no, but on top of that,
not even understanding the meta. It's just I tell all of my friends that I play this game. I guarantee you will win. Yeah, it's like that one phrase by Sun Tzu: "Know your enemy, know your enemy as well as you know yourself." So I told my friend is like, if you look up every single champion, you know their basic basically their 4 abilities and where they do and what they do. Like just little simple shit like that, you'll win. I wish I
would have done that like when I first started playing because
that's what I told you to do when you didn't listen to me.
I didn't listen, but I played though.
Yeah, you played.
I played the hell out of it. Yeah. I don't. Does it track how many hours you've played?
I believe Law Skill does. There's a website because I found out like Law Skill. I created my account.
Well, this is being aside from the point. I've played since ARAM came out. Before I played about 500 matches of regular Summoner's Rift. When ARAM came out, I played 3,000 matches. That should tell you like the gap between like when ARAM came out, that introduced a whole mess for people. I saw like a really big influx of below 30s when ARAM came out because it's more.
It's less more casual. It's a lot more casual.
But it's also broken. I have issues with it. I have big issues with it.
It's always the first team to get a bunch of broken champs.
Yeah,
because it's luck.
Yeah, it's luck. It is luck, and that's the casual fun thing about it.
That is, I love. It's
frustrating.
But I might get five bad matches in a row. I might get that one asshole that AFKs at the beginning and comes like halfway through. Mm-hmm. And I've also had. I hated this person. Was that they were there the entire match? They just chose to like. They just chose to like troll at the beginning, and it was an Ezreal actually. Mm-hmm. Every once in a while, you see him use his ultimate, shoot down. I'm like, motherfucker, you could be over here. Ezreal's the most amazing champion to have in there because he has the biggest sustain, and it's a small map. Come on, man, come on. I was
he has a blink to get out of anything that happens. I mean,
Ezreal's got the best escape of any ADC, hands down.
And I think he had Pulse Fire. I was like, come on. You Pulse Fire Ezreal and you're
don't forget a lot of people bought Pulse Fire Ezreal just to troll. Damn. Just to troll.
Assholes.
Because that's when that came out, that was like because it was the same thing with Spirit Guard Udyr.
I was like a little schoolgirl with
even then it was like even when it came out it was like a $15-$20 skin. Yeah. But and now Spirit Guard Udyr I believe has gone up.
It's 30 something now. 30.
Yeah, it's like $32.50. That's that, and you don't even get and that's not even if you get the champion.
Yeah. Actually now I recently think this week he's free and he went down to 260 Riot points.
Yeah,
which is pretty good. I mean,
Riot's smart about that.
They are. And
they've always been. That's what like so they do all these sales and stuff to get people to get these.
I really do think they're the Steam of free to play games and battle arena games. I think so because when they have a sale, it's a good sale.
It's a big deal.
It's a very if you're into the game.
There's certain skins that they will never put on sale, and they've talked about that.
Actually, I want to talk about this too because we're just talking about it now. But like a few months ago, there was that whole debacle with Silent Night Sona. Like she's a very rare legacy skin now.
Now it's worth like almost 500.
Yeah, nowadays. Now, I think it was at the Korean server, they were having issues for like 2 weeks where no one could log in, no one could successfully play a match without. And that was when they introduced the new League of Legends system with the bronze division, the gold,
the new rank.
Yeah, that's really, you get Riot points, or not Riot points, the League
LP
points.
League points.
LP.
Yeah, when they introduced that, so what they did for compensation, which is rare that Riot does compensation.
Oh yeah, no.
They said they were going to give everyone a missile, the Silent Night Sona, and everyone in America was pissed off because a lot of people did not. They just joined recently. I was in that category, but now I have a legacy skin for Sona, so I'm like, whatever. I don't really care. And actually, I've seen that skin used. It's not the best skin.
No, it's not the best skin.
It's more just
arcade skin. Arcade Sona is still more aesthetic.
It's biggest dick competition.
Like I bought Arcade Sona. I was really glad when Riot decided.
I just love her art.
It's so popular that they put it in the store for a bit.
I love her art.
And I don't know if you can still buy it.
It just came back. It just came back.
Okay.
2 or 3 patches ago. It came back, which is really good. I don't know how long it's going to stay because it is one of the.
It's one of the most popular.
It's one of the. Also, it's in the 1350 region, I believe, right?
It's not.
They're phasing them out though, which is I find really weird.
Bear Calvary. What I didn't notice that they did, I haven't noticed that they've done before, is Bear Calvary Sejuani, her newest skin. Her newest skin came out at the sale price of the normal skin.
It's 28% off.
Oh,
28.
Actually, I want to talk about this too. Did y'all notice? I noticed with Aatrox. I don't know if Zach did it, but their secondary skin has a unique death animation and a unique callback animation.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I thought that was amazing.
You should look up. Hired Gun Lucian.
I might actually.
Hired Gun Lucian has a Matrix.
I love Aatrox's
reference
because one of my friends just bought Aatrox by himself the day he came out. And then finally, we were playing custom games, and finally he got bored of Aatrox, so I said, I'll play Aatrox. So I had Justicar Aatrox, because I bought the set.
Gesticulation.
And I was going through playing, and then I noticed he had a unique death animation. When he would die, he would ascend a little bit. I was like, oh, that's freaking cool. And then when you call back, he ascends, he actually, levitates and stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, that's freaking awesome that he has a skin aesthetics changes. And I was like,
when Riot goes out of their way to put extra animations or extra aesthetics to their skins, you know that.
And I'm a designer, so those little niches to it, mm-hmm. they appeal.
Yeah,
to
me. when Kale got that legendary skin.
Oh, what's the deal with Kale skins? Because a lot of people talk to me about that, in big issues, with Silver Kale and.
Well, because she's the first one to have skins that were basically removed from the store.
Oh.
She had the unmasked Kale, which you can never get anymore.
Ever?
I think even when the Legacy came out, it wasn't out.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think
Silver Kale was
the only difference was
you got from I think a collection that is no longer offered in the store either.
Yeah, it was when they shut down all the bundles.
Yeah. I'm glad that the newer bundles are coming out with some of the legacies in them. I think their digital collector's edition just came out back when the bundles started, and you can get Gothic Annie.
Yeah, you still can, and that's the only way to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you still can. That's the only way to get Gothic Annie.
And also,
and
Silver's got one too.
Huntress Severe.
Severe. Still say no one's gonna care for Gothic Annie Frostfire. Frostfire.
Now with because we're talking the week actually we're in week 2 actually I think of 3.10 launching, right?
Yeah. No, we are technically starting week 2.
Oh, we're starting week 2. How did y'all feel about it?
What I love, the thing that was weird for me is just getting used to the new icons. It was a little subtle. I didn't know about it until after I logged in.
I didn't know that they put it in this one because okay, I personally go my news. I go by the public beta announcements. So when they put the new icons, they put in Lucian, and they did all the other jungle changes all in one big thing. Yeah. So when I heard that they changed the patch notes, just changed a few champions, and the jungle stuff, I was like, and no Lucian, I was like, oh, okay, so they're probably not going to get the icon changes. But lo and behold, I get on, and the
icons are different.
The Hexatech Revolver is different. The Abysmal
they said they were going
Haunting
to do
Guys
that.
is different.
Yeah. I like that.
Haunting Guys looks cooler now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Haunting Guys looks badass.
But the Leandre's Torment is still the regular one, and I'm like, come on! You have this most amazing. I don't even want to get rid of it. I mean, I know it's better to get the burn health thing, but come on.
Riot's been getting used to the new icons. They're cool and all, but at Center 2 sometimes I don't feel like they're the same as they should.
Now, how old is the company?
Riot is now coming on 4.
Because recently I noticed this now that I'm a seasoned player and I kind of am getting into it a little bit more. Mm-hmm. Their release schedule is a little janky.
Because they're now before when you joined, about that time, Riot had a pretty solid schedule. They had a patch every 3 weeks, new champion every 3 weeks, and it was a very consistent schedule. But now they've realized
people want more time to play with the new champions.
And everyone wants these reworks.
Everyone wants the reworks because all these champions. I mean, if you look at these old champions like Twisted Fate before's rework, Annie, they looked ugly compared to how.
And they're also garbage.
But also the thing too is,
there's some champs that didn't need it, like Master Yi. I don't think he ever needed a rework.
A kit rework.
A visual rework would look is fine. He looks cooler now than he did before.
I guess. His strike is really cool. His key strike, or not key strike.
Yeah, plus also even just a voice rework too, because I mean a lot of
there's new lines that
there's new lines. Yeah,
there's new lines.
Before you only had 3 things he could do, and
my main gripe with their release schedule and stuff is that I'd prefer if they don't release a champion, but either A, they focus on redoing the artwork like they did with Riven. Mm-hmm. Or they work on the visual remakes and they do the kit remakes.
Yeah, like I said, for a really long time, because Anivia was the second champion I got into. Other than my first champion being Rammus, and then my second champion being Anivia. I bought her Hextech skin and fell in love with it. But when I noticed newer skins coming out, they got so ugly, and then I noticed Bird of Prey Anivia got a rework. Her regular skin got her regular.
I think Black Frost is like her best right now.
Yeah, and that's about when Black Frost came out, and I stopped complaining. I stopped complaining. I was like, nah, I'm not gonna complain anymore.
That being said, though, I think they need to focus on skins a little bit because these newer champions coming out, they only have one skin.
Yeah, and that's what people have been pointing out too. I mean, Darius didn't get another skin until maybe 3 months ago.
Yeah, the Gladiator. No, not Darius. That's Draven. Gladiator Draven I fucking love.
Yeah, he was. That's another skin that people got free if they went to the Italian server.
Yeah,
and people were complaining about that.
That's the only thing I don't like is that Riot they need to focus on.
They're giving incentives to
the other countries, but I understand what they want to do though because they got Italian people playing and.
I was so happy when they got. I swear my elo started going up when all the Brazilian players went to the Brazilian server.
Or the
not being racist, but. Just saying, I was getting tired.
I'm glad that they got their own servers and stuff, but they need to start all these giving away legacy skins as promotional stuff or even newer skins.
Yeah, because I mean the new Sejuani skin, that's a free skin for Russia.
They need to, and that might be why too they lowered the price on it. But I mean if they're gonna give away a skin free there, they need to make it so that there's a way that the other regions can attempt to. Either get the skin for free if they do a promotional thing too.
The only real way to get the other way for people from other regions to get it for free is to do server transfer, but
that costs money.
Well, I think that's
it's free to go to anywhere outside the U.S. to come back to the U.S. server.
Is it worth $20 though to get a legacy skin?
No.
At that point, you ask yourself.
It's not. You might as well wait for it to come to the store and buy it for your account.
This is an ultra rare. I don't know. That's my only gripe with it is that And then I also see the Chinese artwork, and I'm like, motherfuckers.
Yeah, no, the Chinese artwork is way different.
There needs to be an option where you can toggle.
Yeah,
because I know you can do that with Elsword, where you can do a different, you can transfer different voice patches.
Jesus, and I mean, I love League. It's just I have a couple small gripes. They're not big ones. They're not game breaking to where I'm not gonna stop.
Anyways, let's continue with our little patch.
Okay, yeah, on this patch. There's a lot of champion reworks.
The focus got changed on Ashley.
Actually, passive. Now I think
no. Her pass. There's a bug fix. The bug fix.
Yeah, these are all bug fixes. The only person that got
really reworked was Rise.
Reworked was Rise, and then the only people I see here that got non-bug fixes were Nami,
Karthus,
Malzahar.
Karthus took a nerf. Malzahar. That's gonna be a buff. That's going to be a buff because his Voidlings are smart.
Rise got a bug fix. Thresh got a... Oh, Thresh. Okay, Thresh counts.
Thresh, that's... I consider that
You know what?
But...
On ARAM, I don't know how viable this is with Thresh that I've noticed, too. A lot of people are doing 80 Thresh.
Yeah. 80 Thresh, okay. Now, let me explain 80 Thresh to you. 80 Thresh was seriously, legitimate when his passive was on his Q. Once they did that password transfer to his E...
Okay,
fucking points.
I understand that, but I mean, on ARAM, all I see is 80 Thresh, and occasionally I'll see the support Thresh that is nature is supposed to be, But then it's not like that Thresh is a little overpowered. That sense on his support.
He's got really good positioning, and that's why people do it. Is like he can zoop around the map really quick. He has a natural tankiness.
But that being said, though,
he has
actually he gained a lot from when they changed the Nashor's Tooth and stuff.
Yeah,
his passive went along with the Nashor's Tooth and his E.
Yeah,
and his W, because now his E does the on hit, which it'll do the damage from the Nashor's Tooth, and then when you smack someone with your scythe, it'll.
Yeah, and also he has a very long range, and poke.
Yeah,
pokes extremely popular, and if you can get someone locked down, hard enough, everyone in your team skill shots him. You zoop in, and then boom, boom, boom. I don't care if they flash out of range. Flash is like
he's a very viable duelist too on ARAM. I've noticed. Yeah. I don't know how much on Summoner's Rift he is.
He usually can fight anyone on.
Now another thing too.
I've seen AD carries try to go in 1v1 him. They still come out.
I've had an annoying thing with Thresh too. It's like people don't know how to, or I guess because nobody has Thresh that much that they don't realize that you can actually click on his lantern to get him thrown, and it gives you bonus armor and it gives me like health. It gives me bonus armor on top of what I'm doing right now. So if I'm dueling, I throw the lantern out. Grab the fucking lantern. Don't just wait. Don't go to it and come back and get the bonus armor. I'm like, grab it, dude. That helps me, and it helps my sustain.
Well, another thing you can always do if you walk, he has a circle.
Yeah, I have to go past.
If you walk past it and then go up to the person you're trying to give the shield to, it'll apply to both.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that. Okay.
It will. And also, fun fact: Thresh is if you throw your lantern, it does collect Thresh souls that are far away.
Oh yeah, I noticed that. I was like, oh, this is actually amazing for me going through with Thresh, and Thresh was actually the most recent champion I just purchased.
I wanna really talk about the rise changes. The
rise changes are actually
the rise changes.
Rise took a nerf because this is what the Korean meta is. Rise has had such a long range on his spells. He could outrange pretty much any melee champion in top lane, and he could kill him. Without lack of better term, you run a TP.
He has actually
a TP flash Rise, and you will rape everything.
He also has such split pushing potential because of his E and his ulti.
But you see his ult. I think also too. They really did buff his ult, like making him quicker and stuff. But on top of that, people also need to realize that his ult comes back very quickly without even like getting the Unholy Chalice and or more.
Yeah, it's like a natural 70-second cooldown,
which is amazing because like I usually play Lissandra.
If you get like 40%
other
CD,
main mages,
it's 35.
Yeah.
It
comes in the cooldown consistency of a lot.
Even with 40%, Lissandra shit is still like in the 90 to 80 second region, which is still good. It's just like the newer champions coming out, they're not as viable as Rise is right now, even with updates and stuff.
But no, I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. People are gonna stop. People are stopping doing top lane Rise because of this.
Yeah.
Because that was a really popular strategy in Korea. The North American teams have been adapting to it really well. In the LCS. And this is what Riot did this, and I applaud them for it because they took something that was really overpowered and kind of just clunked it back down to where it should be. And I really appreciate that. And I think that's going to be something that's going to be seen at all levels, not just competitive level. It's going to be something me and you will see in Bronze League. Because I ran a top lane. Right?
Also,
I ran a top lane. My Bronze people are going like, "What the fuck, dude?
They're the ones that complain the most because they don't know how to adapt.
I tried to tell someone to lane swap with me because I was up against a Caston and I was playing Anivia before I started picking up Zed, and they're like, "Why don't we lane swap?" And they're like, "Dude, what are you doing? You're mid." I'm like, have you watched an LCS game? Have you watched an LCS game?
Yeah, no.
I want to yell at people sometimes, but it's
on top of the Rise thing, actually, too, was they changed the way that taunts work on some characters, which I found a little weird too. And I recently just played as Shen. If you taunt someone, normally my going into was that if there was a champion that can dash at me, or like Leona, where I'd have to worry about her grabbing onto me, then stunning me on top of her AoE, I would dash her before she can dash me. Or if she hit me, I usually dash into at the same time or dashed away. Now it works that if you taunt first, she'll dash immediately after. Auto dash. It won't.
Because Shen Shen,
Jax, and I'm trying to think who else is on this.
Jax doesn't have a taunt. Jax has an AoE stun.
Katarina
also
her Shimpu.
Shenpo.
Yeah.
Yeah, her Shenpo does follow, and yeah. Oh, I see what you mean. Just targeting.
Yeah. And I think Fiora's. I think her dash too does that.
Yeah, her dash does that. Anything that locks to it. Anything that's a single target that don't forget this is how it operates. It brings a spell like that brings the edge of your character. For example, let's use Jax. It brings the edge of Jax's hitbox to the center of your target's hitbox, and once that edge hit, and it's not until the edge hits that center that it stops channeling, and then it's considered the spell is complete and damage is applied. Now then you gotta think that's how it's programmed, and that's how the spells operate. So if you flash and you dash before that center mark before their edge of their hitbox hits the center of your hitbox, it's naturally just keep following you.
Yeah, I had that instance with Blitzcrank. I think they fixed that like a couple patches ago, but now Blitzcrank's arm, Tristana is a good example because I usually see a lot of those. If Tristana is grabbed as she's doing her jump, it'll pull her back to the initial
because the counter is still being.
And I had someone that literally we were at the two towers right in front of the Nexus. The tower was attacking Blitzcrank, but what happened was that Blitzcrank grabbed Tristana as she jumped, and she got back to the waypoint at the beginning, and it pulled her all the way back, and she got ganked immediately. And I was like, what? I thought that in my head, I thought that if Blitzcrank's thing goes past a certain area, it won't pull in anymore. But it still does now, and I don't know if that's a bug.
It's because the way that her jump works is she's not considered in the new location until she lands.
Oh, okay.
Also, it's not a blink; it's a channel. It's not it's not a blink; it's a channel. Now, Ezreal was a blink.
Mm-hmm.
So Ezreal is a hard counter to Blitzcrank because if he blinks before, you can get locked on. But if he blinks before the spell starts to channel, he'll break away from it.
Yeah, because for that 1 second he's not in game. Like he's
untargetable. He's untargetable.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Because he's not necessarily untargetable. If spells are still channeling on him, they'll still channel. But Blitzcrank's pull is one of those abilities that does not work like that.
Same thing with like Nautilus and anyone with a pull. Actually,
I do think too this patch specifically helped magic resist tanks a lot.
Oh yes, because magic resist is
there was only very few options for magic.
Yes, there's very few options, and it's become what's become the rise of the AP carry. Because we saw at the start of season 3 where they did the revamps to Bloodthirster, they did the revamps to.
Blade of the Rune King came out.
Blade of the Rune King came out. Revamps to Black Cleaver. When we saw a lot of this new stuff come out, Bruisers became very heavily popular. And then later on, I want to say about maybe April or May, we saw those nerfs to the Bloodthirster, saw nerfs to Black Cleaver, saw nerfs to Bruiser Champions. So pros started realizing.
Who? I'm sorry to interrupt, but on top of that, who is the best Bruiser right now?
Currently, right now, my opinion,
I would say it's still Jace.
It's still Jace. It's Jace, Nasus.
Jace and Nasus.
Jace and Nasus mainly is what's mainly been filling competitive play.
Yeah.
Jace and Nasus, and maybe the occasional.
Just because Jace has so many abilities you can do because his abilities have separate cast times.
Yeah.
Well, cooldowns. I mean,
separate cooldowns.
Separate cooldowns.
It's not. His kit runs like Nidalee does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I'm happy with this change in as for magic resist because. Now you're getting a little more viable against the Bruiser.
But also, as I was saying though, when we saw those nerfs, everyone started realizing how much AP tops are extremely ridiculously overpowered.
Yeah, no.
Because
Rumble.
Because if you, I'm a Rumble player. Trust me, I'm a Rumble main.
He destroys everyone top line.
I've been playing Rumble for a good. I've logged at least I want to say probably around. Maybe 700 games with the bugger. Mm-hmm. Trust me, I love Rumble, but it came to a point where everyone started realizing, oh my gosh, there's really no options to build for magic resist, and if you can pressure your top laner so hard to the point where he has to build magic resist just not to feed you, your 80 carry will shit on him late game. So so a lot of people started building like that. And a lot of people started sending AP. That's why you see a lot of more AP tops. And then that's why Top Lane Rise got so popular. Was because if you force that bruiser to build magic resist, they're going to be useless later game. That you might not do much damage to them, but your ADC and any AD damage you have on your team is going to absolutely just obliterate them.
No, yeah.
And bruisers are your front line. So once you charge, if you can cut through those bruisers, squishies, I'm sorry, they're done.
They're just melted.
They're done.
Gone.
They're done.
And it's really weird because I don't know why they did this, but to the patch before 3.9, they introduced the Orb of Winter, and that was essentially the pre-poke thing that...
It was a counter poke because they had the Guardian Horn, which was also meant to go against champs that have a lot of poke.
But the Orb of Winter isn't a viable item to buy first item because I don't feel
it's not a rush item. It was never meant to be a rush item.
It's probably a really good late game, especially if you're like...
I don't know if Spectrous Cal is available in Magic in ARAM right now.
It is.
Spectrous Cal, and then
it builds into Mansion.
Oh god, that's amazing because you could just
Spectrous Cal is amazing.
You could buy 2 of them, Spirit Vestige, Banshee's Veil. You're set for the entire rest of the game.
But
maybe Orb of Winter.
Also don't forget, BD though. It depends on what champion you play. I mean, if you're a tank, it's okay to build a multiple magic resist, multiple armor items. But me being a main AD carry when I play ranked, I go normally Bloodthirster, Phantom Dance, and when I play Caitlyn, Bloodthirster, Phantom Dancer, Last Whisper.
Yeah, if I see an AD carry, I immediately try and rush a Frozen Heart, or I try to get a Randuin's Omen.
Well, you shouldn't be worrying about getting armor items unless you're getting that hard to focus.
Yeah, because if they're not fed or
they're not fed,
you AP instead of the ADs.
Well, also the thing is too. Whenever I have a tank, and I have probably 3 or 4 of the best tanks you can get. Saying a tank's good is one thing, one stretch of the imagination. The other thing is building for the tank. Yeah. You have to know immediately what you need to build. And I usually as the game's loading, I'm like, okay, I got 2 AD carries, I got a support, a tank, and maybe a bruiser. So I was like, okay, so I need to make sure I shut down the AD carries and the bruiser immediately. So I try and get... Well, normally I would have gotten an Emblem of Valor and started building from there. And if I had it depends on who I had. If I had Nautilus, and I would get the Chalice, the Unholy Chalice for PP or not PP regen. Look at me for mana regen. It's just the beginning because Nautilus is really good beginning. He really doesn't need anything immediately because I think he has the highest health.
He has one of the highest health.
One of the highest.
And then he has a shield too.
And he has the most amazing grab, I think, or for a sustain. Just immediately. If you're trying to run away, you're not getting away. If you're Nautilus, you're not getting away.
Because even if you miss, it's gonna take you in a direction if you hit a wall.
And his ult is amazing for sustain and for
for targeting, maybe.
Yeah, and if
it's a good disruption.
If a carry runs away from me, it's gonna chase your ass, and if you run to the group, even worse.
Because normally in team fighting, how there's team fight and how team fights are normally set up is there's 3 lines. I like to call it there's 3 lines. Mm-hmm. There's the front line, which is mainly where your bruisers are, your tanks are. They're there trying to soak up the damage and, trying to stop any peel that's trying to come for you. Yeah. There's normally one champion in the middle. And I don't really have a name for that, but normally it's your AP champion, because that's normally where your cast ranges are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you're in that middle spot, not trying to get peeled, trying to help help your AD carry behind you. Normally it's either the AP carry or most of the times it's support, where you're right there, you're the back line to the tanks, so where you can try to stun, you can try to stop any peel, but also you're trying to use your abilities to break to their mid line. And then there's also the back line, which I like to call a crash line, and that's where your AD and your AP is, and that's normally where all your damage is. And as long as you stay in that back line, and
I've been seeing that a lot, on ARAM. A lot of people are starting to incorporate the as much as it's supposed to be all middle part, I'm starting to see a structure system. That
there is a structure system.
That goes back.
People think DPSing. As an AD carry, you're not supposed to focus the tank. You're supposed to try to go for their midline and try to position yourself for their midline support or their backline AD and the ADC and AP caster. That is completely wrong. You are doing your job as long because like I said, how I build a Last Whisper. Last Whisper, in kind of like mathology terms, it normally nullifies one armor item that your opponents build.
Yeah.
It normally nullifies when you do the math. It normally nullifies about one armor item, unless it's like something really heavy like a Thornmail.
Yeah, well, I mean, and then like the same could be said. Like if they have a Thornmail, then you have to start focusing on attack speed. So you can make sure that as much as you're getting yourself damage, you can do damage quicker to them than they can do damage to you.
Yeah, and that's also where normally when
now, I can say I've screwed people over. I've screwed 2 Ashes over really badly with that because that's mainly what Ash has to do. She's either you're in front of her, she'll use her W, or she'll just Q you to death.
Yeah. But
she does 1,000 damage to me. And fucking it's gonna reflect back like 300 damage, and you're a champion that only has 1,300 at most.
It's like you're critting for a lot, but you're also killing yourself.
Yeah, you're killing yourself here, and then that's not including if my team is I'm not gonna
is peeling on her.
Is peeling her, then she's fucked.
Yeah, because that's like a lot of misconceptions I see in Bronze. People are like, "Oh, you're out of position." I'm like, no, I'm not. They just let them charge through and get me.
It's a mind game. You gotta make sure that you're
because especially with the AD carry, like you said, your main job is just to hit whatever is in range of you.
Being an AD carry is doing your job to try to put out as much DPS as you possibly can. It doesn't matter what the target is. If you can focus on their ADC and they're not peeling for you, heaven and hell behold, go for it. Go for it. I'm going to yell at you if you don't.
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of LCSs where that's happened.
Yeah.
They're smart about it.
I'm going to use an example. I believe it was it was this week. It was a CLG versus TSM. There was a big fight at the Baron Pit where it was like their front line, Dignitas's front line, I believe was like it was Kassadin, Nasus, and I believe Elise. I want to say. Well, they had a pretty strong tanky front line, and they were keeping TSM at the bay. They had Wild Turtle was Especial on Thresh was because they were at that little ramp that leads the blue buff, right?
Yeah.
So Especial was on the other side of the ramp. Trying to throwing out shields and stuff like that. Wild Turtle was on the other side of the wall in the river. And he was positioned there because he mainly got forced there because Dignitas had a Kassadin, Nasus, and a Jarvan.
Oh.
Jarvan. And Jarvan had ulted on Wild Turtle. So, and Wild Turtle was playing Twitch. So Twitch was kind of stuck in that corner. So, he was doing his job in DPSing, but he couldn't really do much because, his wall was stuck, and then they immediately melted Reginald who was playing Karthus, and they had melted Reginald, and they had their main immediate target was Dyrus, who was playing Jace. They popped his GA, and then they immediately went to Reginald and Wild Turtle. They screwed Reginald over, and then they separated Wild Turtle away while Cutie Pie was Dignitas. Cutie Pie was he was playing Ezreal. And he was just sitting there. He wasn't getting focused at all. He was going to fucking town on everyone. Yeah. And by the time he because they got Jay soloed out.
Ezreal's one of the 1-1 champions. So
Jace and Karthus couldn't push through, and Odd One I believe was playing Elise, and they couldn't hop over them because Dignitas's front line was doing such a good job of being positioned and walling away from Sona, not Cutie Pie, but I always forget Dignitas' support name. I think it's Potoy or something along the lines of that. Potoy, yeah. They were doing such a good job in positioning, and that's why positioning is number one key factor because it can turn a game. It can turn a team fight. You could be down 10 kills, and if you have good positioning, you will obliterate. It happens all the time.
If they break line or they screw something up, I can only imagine maybe let's say the AD carry got a little greedy and tried to go in for that final kill. If that AD carry gets ganked immediately,
even takes an ounce of even slow CC.
Yeah.
You're screwed.
Yeah,
you're screwed. And that's a major source of damage.
That's the thing too. I noticed with the LCS people or the pro players, that they'll wait for their moment. They're not gonna like jump in.
Yeah, everyone plays safe, and I mean like
really safe. And I watch it and I'm like, okay, I never would have thought of doing that.
Yeah, because sometimes you look at those players who are like in Bronze League, they probably would have just died for it no matter what.
Same thing happens in ARAM. People get impatient and they're either A, they'll get poked to death, or B, note
there's times in League where you have to step up and you have to be like, okay, we're going in. Let's
or even like I've had a tank that was scared to go in. I'm like, you're a tank. You cannot be afraid to initiate or even like
especially when your team is ready. Yeah, when your team is ready to go in.
Now I can understand being hesitant as a tank. Because I've played that role, I'm like...
Well, I mean, like...
And I've told my team, my team's like, go in. And my team's like, go in. I'm like, dude, I'm not going in. This is not the place to engage.
They're hesitant to an extent. ARAM is a good example. Like, why would you hesitate to... Like, even if you control the bushes.
I was like, if you control the bushes, it's...
Why are you hesitating? What I mean...
If you have opportunities, like when I play a tank, I don't go in unless I see an immediate opportunity, like... Someone's like the AD carry or the AP carry or even the support steps out of place.
And ult placement too. I won't try to go for their tank, but if they're jungle, if any of their carries try to step out of place, because that's what you see. No one really. There's like one major defined tank and everyone else is building damage. Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, like, if I can see a damage, I'm gonna okay, a target, boom, I'm going.
No, I'm trying to remember. We were just talking about ult placement. Was I don't know if it was a world championship or if it was at the LCS. From previous time, but there was a really good Thresh that he never missed a chain
grab.
Probably
it was always All Stars. It was X Special and All Stars.
He never missed a chain grab, and on top of that, it was a smart thing that I kind of use now whenever I play as Thresh. But normally the idea is when you chain someone, you pull towards them and then you ult. I never thought of leading them to you, letting them get away for a little bit, and then them trying to gank you and then ult and get away. I never thought of that. I was like, well, okay. Because I always thought of his ult as like a viable to kill someone. But then I thought of it as a safe getaway, and then on top of a slow, I was like, oh, and I could totally screw them over too if, let's say, all of them jumped up, grabbed me, I slowed them, then that gives my team a chance to gank, and then I could just go for the AD carry, grab him in. He's silenced for like, 2-3 seconds?
Suppress. It's a channeled suppress.
He channeled suppress, and then
because you can't attack. Like I believe with Thresh Hook is you can't attack. You can't do anything.
But that gives me time.
It's a suppress.
That gives me time to pull him in, and then
suppress.
If let's say the gank doesn't go too well, I can just fling and I can run away.
Yeah.
That's the thing too, is that I get in the mindset of thinking like, okay, what can I do to get away? As much as like I want to kill this person, but I need to think of like a backdoor.
Sometimes too, even a smart thing I've seen people do with Thresh is like when they're getting tower dive, they will grab that person because of the suppression and let the tower just kill them. And that's the quickest way to bring Flash.
Oh, and even if you have a team nearby, they can instant gank if they wanted to. Oh, and your fling also, combined with that grab with your grab, how long is that suppression?
That's I believe you can be. I believe you're hooked for I think 3 seconds.
3 seconds, and then another suppression from fling is like.
If you literally though jump wall on the second pull, it'll actually extend the time.
That's awesome.
People have done that.
Yeah, people. X-Special does that a lot.
See, this is what the pros already know all that. They know every little aspect of what you're gonna do.
But because they play those champions inside and out. Yeah, I mean a lot of it.
But people starting now, they don't know what they can do, what they could do, what they want to do. Mm-hmm. So
it's a barrier that needs to be broken.
Even new champions, like I don't know everything about. I own Quinn. I own. I know I used to own Zach. I refunded him. Sorry, Ryan.
You should get.
I should have kept him because like 2 patches ago he actually got kind of interesting. But then this patch, this patch, then they decrease his attack damage.
No, Zach is still strong.
Zach is reduced, yeah, but just a little bit on his elastic slingshot.
Zach will be scary overpowered. Zach is one of the best junglers right now.
He's the best at
which is weird too,
and
because
getting displacement out because of his ultimate.
When he came out, he was known as the first sustainable tank that, with the current jungling, was kind of like he was okay. He wasn't like the best.
The thing that people didn't understand when he first came out was the fact they didn't know how to balance his health because everything he did cost his health.
Yeah.
Now it costs 4% of your health. It costs 4% of your current, and then and then when you got your blob, you regen 4% of your max.
Same thing with Aatrox. I don't understand in my mindset that some people don't even buy like lifesteal, or they don't try and get the Spirit Vestige. I was like, why? What?
I just started picking up Vladimir, and like I didn't think about. I barely started remembering that I should be getting Spirit Visage every time I get him.
Yeah,
I believe there's like certain like Aatrox is one of those champions where Spirit Visage is a niche. It shouldn't be a definite grab. It should be a good. It's a good later game.
They really need to
even now with Spectric out with the amount of magic resistance, I'm gonna say it's a good fourth item.
But see, the thing too is
it's a good fourth item if you're up against a heavy AP team.
That's the thing too.
If you've got an AP mid, an AP top, and maybe possibly an AP support or AP jungler.
Yeah. Aatrox is amazing on like if you want to burst down people or if you want to gank. Not so much duel. Like I haven't really.
Well, he's good against other melee duel.
I haven't dueled with him. Like everyone's afraid to duel with Aatrox
because they lose.
Yeah,
I mean, they lose. Aatrox is a great duel. Aatrox is almost as good of a duelist as Fiora is.
Yeah, no, Fiora too. People bash on her, but I'm like, you realize she has the most attack damage starting.
Well, people bash on her because she has no escape.
Bash on her because she has no escape and no.
When she gets life steal and when she gets attack speed, she is the most.
Yeah, no, that's why immediately whenever I play Fiora, I ask jungler for red buff, second red buff. I'm like, what's that? What's that? Oh,
yeah.
People point out when she goes in, that's it. She's all in.
She's all in. I try. That's why I ask jungler is like, hey, do you mind if I pick up red buff?
But I mean, like,
because with that red buff, if you have some sort of slow on her, you don't need to build like something like a frozen mallet. You know, you need an external CC like red buff. I always ask for red. When I'm playing through, I always ask for red buff, and my jungler normally gives it to me.
Since we're talking about the Spirit Visage and all that, how are y'all's views on the new Iron Locket, the Locket of Iron Solari?
I hate it.
It's Riot trying to make every item viable. It's
hard to because
Riot's trying to balance. Riot's trying to do that point where they're trying to balance everything so everything is legitimate.
Yeah,
but
I would have thought, since Riot is such a big company, I would have thought that they would have someone in charge of like balancing.
They do.
Well, they do, and they also get pros to come in and test stuff too. I mean,
they also get pros and they have testers.
Yeah.
But I understand why Riot did it because it was a very because if you notice and you watched a lot of LCS games, junglers were building. Yeah. Instead of their supports, it was meant to be a support item.
Yeah, and it stacked. Right?
That's what it was. It was meant to. It only stacked
if you had it.
If you had it, you can only get. That's a huge thing if nobody knows that. It is a huge thing if nobody knows that. You can double stack 4 items.
Can I still do that? With
yes,
Iron Locket?
you can double stack with.
Wait! Actually, hold on. That just broke something for me in my brain. Can you stack their actives? Or no, they're actives. They're
I believe if everyone on your team, you can't like.
Oh, like let's say
you can't stack it yourself.
But like,
if your jungler has Locket of the Iron Slurry and you have Locket of the Iron Slurry, I believe.
And you both activate it.
You can both activate it. I think it's the same.
Because that's 600 damage.
Both activate it, but I think it only counts as one.
I have to check that.
Yeah, I have to check that too.
Because if it does, that's 600 damage. You can take off someone that really needs it on the team.
I understand why Riot did it because the Locket of the Iron Solari is a really good choice, and
it's very
that makes it. I never saw anyone make it prior to this. Now I never saw anyone make it. Rarely, maybe I saw a Sonar or two.
I've seen junglers do it because they're the ones that go in.
Junglers are the ones that go in. Junglers are the ones that go in. They have the money to build the item. Unlike supports who need to focus, who need their money to focus on ones. I mean, literally, I saw it. I believe it was TSM versus Curse. The supports the end game. X Special only had his boots mobility. I believe he had a boots mobility. He had a Kindle Gem and Shrelius, and that's all he had. That's all he had at the end of the game, and that game was almost like 40 minutes long. That shows you how much gold support should be putting into warding. I'm not saying that that's another huge misconception in Bronze League is that support should only be doing the warding. You should, unless you're the AD carry, you should be buying a ward or two.
Yeah, I mean, every role I play, I always buy wards. Top lane, buy ward.
Buy a ward to cover your lane. And if you notice your jungler's doing really good, I'll be like, and I notice their jungler's doing really bad and our jungler's doing really good. I'm like, hey dude, I'm buying it, and I have the money. I'm like, hey dude, I'm getting a second ward. I'm gonna get a ward on their blue. Try to take advantage of that.
What I do sometimes is when I know my jungler's doing it, I'll buy a pink ward so I can get rid of the ward. That
I always buy a pink ward.
I don't just because I just need to know when their jungler shows up. I don't care too much if I'm gonna get.
I have a tendency to try to counter it because mainly it's a mind game. It's a mind game. If you have a pink ward and you pink ward them out, they're gonna think, oh shit, jungler's coming. I need to play more passive. I need to play more safe. I'm gonna stick to the back line a little bit now. So it allows you to a little bit more comfortably CS.
Yeah.
But okay,
that's actually what I wanted to go into with it was like the junglers. They recently did a jungle change in this patch.
I understand why they did it a little bit.
I still don't think it helps.
Just shotgun it. Like, will it help with the game?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think it was unnecessary.
It's basically just delaying the game even more.
It's unnecessary because I know it was a patch that was strewn towards competitive play.
With all these patches coming out, there's still like the one thing that I was waiting for, and I saw a little bit in the public beta environment, but they need to start fixing the freaking like ready ups and champion selection.
Oh,
I do believe that there is a way.
BD, don't get me down that road.
We'll talk about it in the next podcast.
Oh, yeah,
I believe in a perfect fucking world. Even ARAM, it pisses me off too, because you should not in any form or fashion be in a fucking 3-minute queue for ARAM. There's no way that should be possible.
I'm going to explain to you what.
How long are the queues? Hold on. How long are the queues for
me?
Ranked?
For ranked solo queue, I normally average about a minute, 2 minutes.
About a minute, 2 minutes.
Okay, no, and we'll get into that next time. But it's just
ARAMs can be different sometimes.
I wish that they'd have a way so that and another thing too is Dodgers. I hate them with a passion.
Who?
Dodgers.
Oh, Dodgers.
I really hate that with a passion, but I wish there'd be a way.
They've introduced more penalties towards dodging recently.
I wish there'd be a way that, like, okay, the champion selection comes up, right? And let's say someone, Summoner 1 dodges, right? There should be a way to where it freezes and the thing comes up and it says accept. Everyone that's in that match accepts, and then when the new person gets there, they accept and they're thrown into that area. And you can keep the champion you have, because on ARAM, it's broken.
ARAM, sometimes you can get
you get that amazing team, and then you go back in the queue, and you come back in, and you're like, we're all supports.
Fuck.
That's the thing with it. I will say that what I'm glad that they did is, one, introduce the rerolls. That was a big thing when
did they introduce it on
it was like when the new map came out. Howling Abyss. That's when they introduced
That's when they made ARAM an official mode.
Yeah, and that's when they introduced rerolls. Which I like. I like that they do that now.
Because rerolls are amazing.
And also, one big thing I appreciate was when if you didn't pick a champion, it canceled you out of queue. Yeah. That was a huge annoyance in rank. People would AFK.
How many normally people like with y'all play? Do you get a lot of AFKers?
I would say maybe 1 out of every 15.
I say 1 out of every 15 too.
Okay, I've ran into countless many on ARAM, but I don't know.
What level are you?
I'm 30.
You're 30, and you're still encountering it?
Okay, but here, let me explain to you, because there is an invisible number in every mode called MMR. Okay. There's an invisible number, and it's a fucking equation. I don't.
It's a hidden ELO.
It's a hidden ELO. It's a hidden ELO for Summoner Drift. It's a hidden ELO for Crystal Scar. It's a hidden ELO for Tristan Tweeline. It's a and now it's a hidden ELO for ARAM. And now the reason why a queue can take so long for you sometimes is probably because you're at that point and you're at that MMR because you haven't been playing much. I'm gonna be honest. You haven't been playing much, so your MMR is probably not as high as me or his. So
I'm running into a lot of AFKers.
It's trying to find people who.
It's trying to match.
It's
trying to match people to your skill level.
Okay.
There's oh god, so many fucking formulas, and like even I haven't bothered with it because I don't care about my own.
And I'm a solid believer in that. Like if there's a problem in ARAM, there's going to be a big ass problem in regular Summoner's Rift or Crystal Scar. I do wish that they did talk about it. Now they're kind of implementing it little by little. Is that they're going to have specific changes for each individual, like Summoner's Rift, or they're going to change something with ARAM, or there's going to be a specific change with Crystal Scar, and you're seeing that a lot with
champion nerfs.
Yeah, and champion nerfs.
Champion nerfs. Yeah, the Singed got a hard nerf in Twisted Treeline a couple patches ago, and it's just for Twisted Treeline.
And but that's because people figure out in those like basic modes. Like there's some champs that just do way better in different modes.
I think another one was
found just one in Twisted Treeline.
One was Kennen. Like they were talking. I saw that on a bunch of chats where they were talking about like Kennen needs to his AOE on Twisted Treeline is ridiculous. Because he could literally... Because, I mean, the Twisted
Okay, now, do you know how Kennen's ult operates?
How his kit?
Yeah, no, his ult.
His ult...
his ultimate, how it operates.
Generally, I think it marks, right? Whenever...
Yeah.
Okay, well, okay. It's when he activates it, he gains an AoE, of course. And it summons lightning, and I believe the number of times it can hit the same champion is like, I believe it's like
it's 5, isn't it?
No, it's like 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a low number. It's a low number. So,
but it has high.
Once it tries to target another champion, that's why Kennen's sometimes better in 5s than it is on 3s because you can because the target acquisition is a lot more faster, and then you'll get through it faster. You get the stuns out quicker.
Yeah, I see.
But it's also really broken in 3s because you'll get the ding, and then his ult will end, but then he can instantly hit W, and it's a.
Or if he has
it's a stun.
Or if he has what's the Zenora's Hourglass?
Zanya's, yeah,
Zanya's. He can instantly just wait. Like I've had that too, where like I was like telling the tank, I was like back away from him, or
back the
with
fuck
fiddlesticks. I'm like back the shit up because you're gonna get fucked up, and it's not my fault that you ran in there blindly. Same thing with Nunu.
Yeah,
in the bushes.
The bush tactics.
Oh my fucking god! There's so many of those on ARAM.
Because you don't. All you see is your champion moving slow, and then you're
like,
wondering why, and then all your health is gone.
Well, that's the thing that's supposed to be in Nunu's kit. It's kind of like Garen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, ending that though, also an issue. Maybe I'm nitpicking here. I've noticed because I've been using fiddlesticks a lot and Nunu. With their channeling, they need to have an icon or something pop up to when your channel is interrupted. Because I had that issue with fiddlesticks where I was channeling for Crowstorm, and then all of a sudden I look like an idiot because I'm just standing there. While I'm trying to like look around, see what I need to do, like when I need to activate the hourglass. But then I'm channeling, and all of a sudden, I'm just like I'm standing there like an idiot.
I know what you're thinking. You're thinking like you know how it shows how long you're stunned.
Yeah.
Like you're thinking
or like an X pops up or something.
But don't forget also there if you look, there is a bar for like a solid.
Yeah.
There is a bar. There is a marking for that.
But it's very. It's hard to like focus.
It's hard to see.
Yeah, because you're looking at everything.
I mean, they have it. They can't change that.
I wish that they would put something there, like just nitpicking on a few things.
Nitpicking. I mean, you're a newer player, so
yeah, maybe. But
after a while, like you can adjust to it.
And I hear crows going, then I know.
And there's champs that have very long cast times, and that's what you rely on.
You know what? Another good one was Karthus.
Karthus ult?
Yeah, because like his channeling, I fuck it up all the time. Because me, like an idiot, I usually like to do it after I'm dead and after I know that I'm doing AoE damage on top of that. I like to channel. But there's occasions when I get out of the spawn and I'm like, you know what? I have it, so just channel. And as I'm channeling,
you'll die.
Either A, I die, or B, I step out or I move and I fucked it up. I'm like, or there's those accidental clicks.
People do that a lot, Galio.
Yeah. They'll stop his ulti just because they move a little bit or something.
Yeah, or like if someone interrupts it, which that's gonna happen when you run.
I mean, there's not a lot of champs that can interrupt a lot of channeling spells.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Now because a silence, there's not a lot of champs with silences.
And even then, sometimes when you're silenced, if you're starting to channel before the silence hits you, it won't.
Sometimes it won't interrupt you because that's what it was meant to do.
Okay.
But okay, let's say going along the 3.10 patch.
This patch was very successful, I think, in fixing a few issues that people had with magic resist. Because
now this is going to be there's one more thing I want to bring up, though, BD. And this has been screaming on the forums. This is mainly a competitive change. Towers are now going to be, and I've noticed now, towers are now insanely difficult to take early game. To take within the first 10 minutes.
They increased, I think, the
and I'm gonna tell you why this that reason is why Cloud9 right now. Cloud9, if for anyone that hasn't heard, they're 21-2 right now in
21 wins, 2 losses.
21 wins, 2 losses.
Yeah.
They have a 9.57 win rate. and the reason why they have that is because their strategy, their play style is so set in stone that that's how they operate. They take towers early. They take objectives early. And, they capitalize on that fact that towers are kind of easy to take early game if you get a 3-man focus, if you get your ADC support jungle.
So they already have a counter to that if they increase like the health on them or they increased.
They're increasing the armor.
Increase the armor because mostly your spells really don't affect the tower. It's your auto.
The towers are 1-to-1, right? They don't scale down or up.
Okay, this is what happens with towers. Towers, your auto attacks, it's just the standard calculation. But if you're an AP caster, it calculates a percentage of your AP and adds it on to your auto attack.
Okay, well, I always wondered because I never
80 ADCs are always going to take down towers faster than AP casters. But AP casters aren't going to just throw auto attacks and only going to do one damage.
Twisted Fate with the Lich Bane. You just fucking
take towers like nothing. Yeah.
You take towers like no day because Reginald is pushing that, and that's what Reginald's going to do now with the Rise nerfs. With the Rise nerfs, Rise is still viable, but he's not going to be as overplayed as he is.
Actually, before we cancel before we stop, I had a quick question real quick, and both of y'all probably answer that a lot of people I know that I play with a little bit. They had a question, and I never got the answer to it. Was when people play the championship games or they play the All-Star stuff, are they playing public environment or are they playing environment that came up to the patch update?
Okay, they usually play.
Right now, 3.9 came into effect last week.
Yes.
Last week. So normally pro players play like 2 weeks behind.
Okay.
They're always a patch behind because of stability. Because if this patch causes problems like it's done in the past, they don't want that to affect the pros. All right. Second, they need to make sure all the balance changes are for the better. Because I've seen them do hot fixes too when something goes wrong during a patch.
Mainly they'll do that in PvE.
Or I think Syndra is one that got messed with. This
Syndra got disabled for a day or two.
That's because she was killing.
That's because she was killing her allies. No, that was an obvious fix that needed to be stopped.
Yeah, I know, because I logged in and it said that, and I think I remember I played 2 or 3 matches, and I went to sleep and I woke up and it still said that on my PvE thing. But then when I played a match, the first match I got was with Syndra. I was like, oh, I thought you were disabled. I was like, oh. That's why
they disabled Jax because they fixed when they had his bug was on his hourglass.
I think, right?
That was 3.8 actually.
3.8.
Or it was 3.7 or 3.8.
He had infinite W or something like that.
Yeah, he had a very.
Hell?
No, he didn't have an infinite W. He had a 30 or 40 second W though.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it was until your mana ran out or something like that.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
And it was simple for everyone to pull. Actually, other champions were able to pull it off. I found that out later. You could actually pull it off for Garrett, and he spin the whole time.
Yeah.
But people find this out.
Who in the first few minutes of it being announced?
It's weird though too, because
who does that? Who goes through all the champions? It's oh, this is broken, this is broken, this is broken.
Yeah, but it's also just the methods. Because you're building a Zanya's on basically Jax. Who really builds that? Not many people. So that's why.
The person apparently that wants to be
these are the code monkeys that go into the game and they're
these are the assholes. Actually,
these are the assholes. Yes, with the lack of a better term. These are the guys who are okay.
How can we break the game?
How can we break the game? They literally sit there with a few of their friends and okay, how can we break the game?
I don't know.
I'm kind of generous for these people, but still, if I came into one of these fuckers in ranked, I'd be reporting their asses.
I guess the Syndra one I can understand. I guess if you played ARAM, she was there, and then if you're on this side of the tower and she killed you, then fuck.
It didn't matter what.
If she got a double pentakill, there's problems.
double
pentakill. It just shows that you kill 2 or 3 of your allies, and it just plays pentakill 4
last
times.
Few patches, people brush this under the bridge. That I want to talk about this before we sign off. Is a lot of people are having issues with the NVIDIA drivers.
Because
Riot acknowledge it. And I'm Riot, come on, fuck on. NVIDIA is your biggest supporter and sponsor. Why the hell do you want to say that?
Because when they introduced the drivers for those keyboards, because you know what those keyboards are, right?
The Razer ones, or
not the Razer ones. I believe I don't know exactly what brand they are, but they have a heads-up display. on the keyboard itself that shows your CS, the amount of wards you've placed, the amount of wards you've destroyed, your current.
How much does it cost?
It's like a $200 keyboard. It's like a $250 keyboard. But
yeah, but I mean the
and Riot came out with that when they got sponsored with NVIDIA, and they were like, okay, we're gonna do all this for you. And then we're gonna have a specific, because they do that with StarCraft. They do that, I believe, with
I'm fine with that. It's just like that was a game breaking thing, because it sucked for people that went in ranked and then they sometimes people in ISP is a big issue too.
Yeah.
Riot has Riot runs through.
They can't control that. I understand.
They can't control that.
The drivers thing, come on.
The drivers thing is something they.
Because like even after a while too, the AMD cards are also really.
Oh, I heard about that.
Yeah, I had an AMD card and I was losing frame rate because of that. I was playing like at 2 frame rate.
That's fucked up. But the NVIDIA thing, actually, when I went to the forums, a lot of people were complaining. There were no red posts. So I was like, well, they never acknowledged that this was an issue. But what I told people was that I knew that the March drivers were working, even on current one. I'm still using them right now because I'm afraid to upgrade. But I mean, like once, I think now they have like a thing on their patch list that says League of Legends patch for 3.9. I think that's when the issues arose. But they need to get on that a little bit more, because I know businesses probably lost money because of that. Yeah. People have lost ranked points because of that. There's no incentive for that, is it?
No.
Like you can. I probably bet you they're saying that.
Like you get a ticket or something.
And you can get your match forgiven, which means pretty much
you don't lose any points.
Which pretty much you don't lose or gain anything.
Okay. No.
That happens. That can happen sometimes. That happens when sometimes during when the live maintenance happens. If something happens, you get DC, and a lot of people get DC'd out of their game, and then
sometimes you'll get match forgiven too if someone in your game gets lost because of server.
See, that's nice and all, but when it was happening to me, I kept losing fucking rerolls on ARAM, because you don't get reroll points.
You don't get reroll points back. Yeah, that's something they need to fix.
That is a little dumb.
I do say, well, at least what they did do is if you reroll and then someone dodges, you still get to keep that reroll.
Yeah, but they need to increase rerolls too, because I max out at 2 most of the time. I usually.
Yeah, no, I keep telling them that too. Riot made a post though about it. They're saying the reason they keep it at 2 is because they need incentives for you to, like, they don't want people to just save them up and then just keep hitting the reroll button.
And also the other argument too with 2 that annoys me was a lot of people were like, "Oh, why don't I just make a Smurf account that has 1 or 2, 3 champions that I know I'll use, or that are viable for it?" And I was like, "Well, why the fuck would you want to do that?
Why the fuck are you playing ARAM?"
Well, don't forget also, if you make a Smurf, you have all the free week.
Oh my fucking god!
Oh yeah, you have all the free weeks, so there's no point in doing that.
But you see, there's another thing that pissed me off about that too. Was did y'all play ARAM when it first started?
No, ARAM. Yeah. Like I said, ARAM wasn't. ARAM was open to you when you started playing, but ARAM wasn't open to me when I started playing.
Okay. Well,
I wasn't. When I started playing, even co-op versus AI wasn't enabled.
Oh Jesus, tits!
So I had to learn champions the hard way.
But you see, the thing is, when ARAM first started, I wish it would go back to that, because before you had a dual team. Like, let's say on your team you had a Misfortune, their team would have a Misfortune, and you'd have an Ashe. There were some weird team mix-ups. Yeah. I miss that. Now it's usually like you get a fucking broken team.
You can still get that only in custom games, though. That's the only time that possibly happens.
It still happens on ARAM too, but it's rare, and it has to happen on a reroll.
Yeah.
Because I had 2 karmas before, and I was like, oh, geez, this has been a while since I've seen 2 versus each other.
And I've seen that. Yeah, I missed that too in a way, because they used to do that on the other bridge. Murder. Well, I forgot what the bridge was called already. Was that
Proving Grounds?
Proving Grounds, yeah.
I miss that, because now like we were talking about that before, you had a broken team. But before, like, if they had a Misfortune, you had to worry, like, oh, how is that Misfortune going to build, or how is that going to, like, pan out towards the end?
Or, like, make sure she doesn't get her damage early.
Yeah, so. Like, it was an interesting, like, dynamic to it, but now that dynamic's kind of gone, and you have to worry now about, like, your team, too,
But also don't forget that lower tier, there's also a lot of people who are just starting to play the game. Who are like, they're like, what the fuck am I playing? What the fuck am I doing?
There are people that just start up and they don't know what they're doing.
There's some people who, like, even in ARAMs now, like, they'll get a champ that they bought but never played, and they're just like, what the fuck am I doing with this?
I had that issue too a little bit, but only with like 2 champions, and that was Amumu and Rammus. But I mean, Rammus is really good for ARAM as well.
Rammus is self-explanatory.
And now I have a really good skin for
roll
him,
in, taunt, Q. R. It's like QEWR.
Yeah, and then he was one of the ones you got for free with the starting thing. So I was just like, Yi too. I never cared for Yi, but then like Yi was very viable towards like if
he's also really cheap. He's $450. I mean,
yeah, he's viable and he's cheap, and also Ash is now viable and cheap. A lot of the like
we're making him sound like a slut. So like, yeah, that's so cheap.
I know. But like Jack, Freak, a lot of the shoutcasters, when they talk, like they're saying like with how pro players are playing, like with mainly like Cloud9, you see Sneaky and you see Sneaky playing Ash, and I can forget their support's name too. But
we did go over time, so.
But yeah, we did. We were a little over time.
We're gonna have to sign from here, so.
Yeah, but I want to finish
this was fun to talk about, though.
Yeah.
This is a nice thing. Hopefully, we can get another person in here.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. We gotta find another league player.
Or maybe we can get
Brian.
Oh, actually, Mario was he was talking to us when we were talking about league, but he left early. So maybe next time I can snatch him up.
Or maybe we can get.
Did y'all see any of his artwork?
I did.
Oh yeah.
Shit. Well, next podcast maybe
right.
I'll post it on there. But yeah, I was signing off, guys.
All right. This has been Bruce,
Roman,
and BD. So see y'all next week.
Oh, that was nice.